Sue and I are up in Maine. Beautiful late October day. It's in the 70s, and we're going for one of our favorite rides up along the coast from Booty Beach up to Kennebunkport, hopefully. And we're going to record some of this and give you some highlights. Hope you enjoy. This is kind of a longer ride today. We get all the way to Kennebunkport back. It's about 30 miles. So we opted for the e-bikes today just because we really want to be able to enjoy the weather and the views and not stress about getting a hard workout. Coming up Ocean Avenue, around this little bend is Fisherman's Cove. Or sometimes, usually early in the morning, which it's not right now, we can see harbor seals resting on the rocks or playing in the water. It's a real popular spot right along the beach here, just before Wells, where there's some parking. A lot of people will pull over and just to sit and watch the ocean, read a book, listen to some music, or look for seals and seabirds. We're heading out around noontime, and it's pretty close to high tide, so usually we see the seals when the tide is lower and early in the morning. We're not seeing anybody out there right now. Oh, wait a minute. Sue's going to try and get a little bit of video of the one seal we see kind of out on that rock. I'm not sure how much you'll be able to zoom in on it. They always look like shape of a banana, but of course not yellow. They're brown or dark gray. Booty Beach and Ogunquit Beach are some of the nicest beaches in Maine. Combined, they're a little over 2 miles of really wide, pretty flat, beautiful beach, all swimmable if the temperature's right. And as you head north after some rocky sections, you hit Wells and Wells Beach, which is more of a public beach. A lot more houses, a little more congested area, but still a great beach that a lot of people love to go to. To the west of this whole area, you've got the Rachel Carson Wildlife Refuge. That'll never be developed, so that's a great buffer between this whole residential area here and Route 1, which is the main drag going north and south. Unfortunately, not all this ride is along the coast. We go in and out. We're going to be turning onto Mile Road soon and heading across the Rachel Wildlife Refuge in the marsh up towards Route 1, and then we'll head north. We're on Mile Road, justly named Mile Road because it's about a mile long from Route 1 down to the beach. We're crossing the Wildlife Refuge now. Not too much development here. There is one restaurant, Billy's Chowder House, is very popular. It's right on the marsh here. We'll go by in a few seconds. This is Billy's Chowder House. I believe this is open most of the year now. It always gets a good crowd. The wind is really whipping down the road today, going west to east. Hopefully that won't be much of a problem for us going north. But right now, going towards Route 1, it's a little bit of a challenge. Glad we brought the e-bikes. There's probably a good 15 mile an hour steady wind right in our face. We love cycling in Maine. Unfortunately, there are not a lot of bike trails in southern Maine. And the few that are gravel or sand. We're starting our northern run. Fortunately, this road has a pretty wide shoulder on it. There are places where it's marked for bikes. So it feels pretty comfortable riding along with the cars here. In the summer when it's really busy, usually we're going faster than most of the cars that are going up and down here. Getting ready to pass the steakhouse, aptly named because it's a steakhouse, but they also have other great entrees as well. If you want to eat here and dining starts at say 4 or 4:30, make sure you get here at least an hour before the first seating, or you'll probably wait a couple hours to get a seat. The other option would be to come really late, right before they close, and try to get a seat then. It's the stoplight, which just turned green for us. You'll see Harbor Road right after the firehouse. That road will take you past Fisherman's Catch, a great place for seafood again. If it's a busy season, expect to wait for a table, but awesome place to eat near the marsh. If you go further down, you can get all the way to Wells Harbor. There's a jetty for fishing. You can rent kayaks, take out on the marsh. There is part of it that's actually a bike trail towards the end of it, and there's a park down there as well where they have events sometimes. You notice my commentary sometimes breathing a little heavy. That's because even though these are e-bikes, they're pedal assist. So when we're going up hills or really anytime, we have to be pedaling for these things to move. And we also don't use the assist all the time. There are quite a few antique shops up along Route 1 north of Ogunquit. Fortunately, I think the last couple of years in COVID, probably half of them have closed. And I also think that's a trend. A lot of younger people aren't into collecting. Coming up on Drake's Island Road, if you want a little detour, there's a beautiful area with some gorgeous homes and a very nice beach. Extremely limited parking. And although I believe the beach is public, it's not easily accessible to most people unless you live there. Just ahead is the original location of our favorite ice cream place anywhere, and that's Big Daddy's. I believe they're closed for the season. They had new owners a couple of years ago, and they also opened additional locations in the village of Ogunquit and just north of the village. So they're all real busy. It's the greatest ice cream ever. Highly recommend it. We're going to pull off here on Ludhelm Farm Road. Kind of get away from the traffic. The road has recently been repaved. There's almost no traffic on this ever. It does give you access to Ludhelm Farm, which is a kind of like a wildlife sanctuary, museum, cultural museum, old farm. Kind of an interesting place to go. They don't allow bikes on the trails there, but you can walk the trails. And there's museums and exhibits, and you can get down along the beach there as well. Haven't done it in a while, but I do believe there is a modest admission fee. Actually, the proper name of that, I just saw a sign, is the Wells Reserve at Ludhelm Farms. We're going to take a left here, and that's going to take us out to Route 9, which is going to bring us up towards Kennebunkport. It's a beautiful wooded setting down through here, and like I said, we usually and rarely see any cars along this road. There's the entrance to the Wells Reserve to the right. It's a cool little one-lane bridge here over a little stream in the woods. This was pretty torn up this summer. They're putting in new water or sewer lines or some kind of utility, and so we weren't able to do this ride because it really wasn't a shoulder. It looks like at least this section here has been paved now, has a decent shoulder we can ride on. We really missed doing this ride this summer. Up on your right's also the Rachel Carson Wildlife Refuge. This is a national wildlife refuge. There's nature trails there, ranger station, some boardwalks you can walk on, look out over the marsh. There's some placards and exhibits. There's a long stretch of road here where it's just wooded land on both sides of the road. The shoulder's a little rough, but it's very wide here, which is good because the speed limit's a little higher here, so keeps you away from the cars, and it's still very comfortable to be out here with the traffic. In a little while, we're going to cross the Musam River. A nice little bridge there. Some pretty views. You easily stop there and take a little break, get some water. It's also a good place to launch a kayak or a canoe, although you have to be very wary of the tide. because if you're not timing it perfectly, that can really work against you. We used to do this river when my kids were little, and we would go up above a dam that's a little bit west of here, and you could go for many miles upstream of the dam and not have to worry too much about the currents. There's another turnoff here to Parsons Beach, another beautiful public beach. There's some restrooms down there in season, some porta-johns, and you can park your bikes and walk that beach if you like. And we're coming up on that bridge across the Mooseham River now, which flows out near Parsons Beach to the ocean. We'll stop here for a minute and have a little bit of water to drink and maybe take some pictures. We pulled off Route 9 now and heading down towards Mother's Beach, a beautiful residential area. Really beautiful, expensive homes down here. As I said earlier, there's not a lot of bike trails in southern Maine. We like to ride the paved trails, the old railroad lines, things like that. But that doesn't mean there's not avid bikers here. We see a lot of people biking up the roadways and a lot of people biking in the back roads. There's a lot of beautiful country roads with very little traffic on them. Some of them can be a little hilly, and the biggest disadvantage for Sue and I that makes us a little uncomfortable is a lot of them just have zero shoulder. So we prefer to stay on the main roads that have a wide shoulder, deal with the little traffic. Most of this ride is pretty flat, going along the ocean, so there aren't any great big hills. There are a couple of areas where there's a little bit of a climb, but not too bad, especially with the e-bikes. We did find a bike trail in South Portland, the South Portland Greenway, that we did earlier this summer. That was interesting and a lot of fun. If you'd like to see more information about that, click on the related video at the end of this one. Coming up on the Kennebunk beaches, there's usually a lot of people here. You're lucky to get a parking spot here. It's very popular. There are porta-johns in the summertime, so you do have that. A little bit of parking here, probably for 20, 30 cars. Turn the camera a little and you can see some of these great big beautiful old cottages here. These people are very lucky to have these homes so close to the ocean. Coming along the seawall here, there's parking here, parallel parking in the summer, and a lot of times when it's busy, there's cars all along here. In the wintertime, this area and a lot of the roads along the ocean can take a beating from winter storms, and quite often we've seen sections of this seawall have to be replaced in the summer after a bad winter. This is a popular beach for surfers in the summer, actually year-round. When we drive up here in the wintertime, sometimes even after New Year's or between Christmas and New Year's, if you get a sunny day or the waves are right, you'll see surfers out here in wetsuits surfing in the middle of the wintertime. Pretty much all along the coast here you'll see that, but this is a very popular beach for surfers. We're taking a turn away from the ocean now, headed up towards Kennebunkport. We're headed into Kennebunkport now. Usually quite a bit of traffic going through the village, and we found that it's probably safer, at least we feel we are, riding right in the traffic lane, right in the middle of the traffic lane, so that people don't try to scoot around you. because there's not really a bike lane. There's sidewalks that you shouldn't be riding on. And it's really only a short distance, and then you get out of town and you're good again. Lots of great places to eat in town here. It's Clam Shack up on the right hand side. Probably isn't open right now, because if it was, there'd be a line 100 yards long. It's a very picturesque town. We're heading up out of the village of Kennebunkport along the coast towards Walker's Point, where George Bush and Barbara Bush had their summer compound. There is a memorial here to George Bush on the side of the road, and a place to sit and look at the compound. I'm trying to stop at St. Annes Church, take a look at that. The gates are open today. Beautiful views from this church site here. I believe sometimes where you see that car just passing, there's a little area where they do mass outside sometimes. This is an Episcopal church. And again, I have indicated before, this is where George and Barbara Bush were married. Stopped at this new place called The Market, which is part of the Colony Resort. They've got drinks and espresso and smoothies and some prepackaged sandwiches and other food. So we got ourselves a sandwich. We're going to have a little break here and eat that. Also restrooms here, if a good place to stop for that. Coastside Market, great place to stop if you're doing this bike ride to Kennebunkport and Walker Point and back to Ogunquit.